Hey guys, in this video we are talking child themes, when to use them, when not to use them, how to install it, things of that nature. Let's go ahead and dive in from the MyListing Club website. That's mylisting.club. Click on the menu there at the top and go to Resources. From there, let's click on Guides and let's do a keyword search for child theme. What we're looking for here is the guide for how and when to install the MyListing child theme, as we see here on my screen. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working with. I'm going to move this guide over to my other screen, and let me run through some things here verbally before we get to the demonstration part of this. So a little bit of housekeeping. Right off the bat, very important. You should not edit parent theme files ever under any circumstances. Okay, if someone tells you to edit your parent theme files, or they edit them on your behalf, you should really question who it is that is providing support to you. You should never directly edit theme files, the parent theme files especially, okay? Obviously, child theme you're going to need to edit, but definitely those parent theme files, do not edit them. A lot of times you'll see when you get support from people, they will say, hey, I made changes to your theme and it's fixed now. But what they do a lot of times is they update your parent theme, not understanding that when that next update for that theme comes out, those changes are going to be lost. Additionally, if they screw up something with syntax or something like that, they can take down your entire website. So it's just not good. They should not be doing that. Okay, off my soapbox. When to install the child theme. A WordPress child theme is needed when you want to customize or modify the parent theme without losing any changes you make to the parent theme when updates are done to the parent theme. So here are some scenarios when a WordPress child theme is recommended. Parent theme customization. If you want to customize the theme by changing its design or functionality, a child theme allows you to add your own custom code and styles to it without losing those changes. It overrides the parent theme, but keeps those parent theme files intact, untouched, which is what you want. Theme updates. If you make changes to the WordPress parent theme, as I said, and the next update to that theme comes out, you're going to lose those changes. So by making those changes in the child theme, you're going to retain those settings going forward with any updates that are released. And the last one here doesn't really apply because we're using the MyListing theme. But if you ever wanted to create your own theme, you could use a child theme based off of the parent theme to have a quick start. So it helps you get a jump start on building a new theme. Okay. Just to give you one example of where I needed to use the child theme was when I've got a link to this in the guide. It's when I fully customized the MyListing dashboard with Elementor. Let me see if I follow that link here. So that's going to bring up another guide here. So fully customize the MyListing dashboard with Elementor. But if you follow this guide, you'll see in here where I needed to manually add some files in. Okay. And that was done using the child theme. Okay, so that was one example of where that came into play. So you definitely check out that guide. That was one of the more complex things I think I've ever done, but it paid off. The above said, there are times when you don't need a child theme. All you need to do is add code snippets via a plugin. I'm going to talk about that as well, okay? All right, so how to install the child theme. Before you install it, make sure you run a backup of your website. I've got a link to download the child theme, or you can also get it from the MyListing developers if you want. When you download the theme files, like say from ThemeForest, if you download the full set of files and when you go to extract that zip file, the child theme also lives in there, so you can pull it out of there if you're familiar with how to do that. Okay, but I include a link for your convenience in this guide. Okay, so to install it, we go to the WordPress dashboard. Here I've got a MyListing sandbox site, and you see we've only got one theme installed. It's the MyListing parent theme. So we're going to click Add New. So WordPress dashboard, appearance, and themes. That's how I got here. Okay, we're going to click Add New. We're going to click Upload Theme. We're going to choose File, and I've already gone ahead and I've downloaded the child theme from the guide. So we're just going to double click on that and click Install Now. And the last thing we're going to do is click Activate. Okay, so just that easy. We've got our child theme in place, and we see that it's active. The parent theme is there, sitting in pristine condition, unactive. It's just there, so the child theme can reference its files. Okay. So now let's look at browsing these files. If we want, let's say we want to make a change. So what I use is FileZilla. It's a free application. It's a way of browsing your file system from your computer versus, say, installing a plugin, a file manager plugin that you have to run from your website. Another really awesome benefit to this is if you screw something up, or a developer working on your site or support screws up your site, you can always get into your website this way. So I always recommend having this on your desktop, your workstations. Okay. So what I've done here is I've connected to the Sandbox website with FileZilla. On the right-hand side here, let me go back up a few levels here. So when you first connect, you're going to see something like this on the right-hand side here. So what we want to look at here is this public folder. Okay, that's where your files, that's where we want to be in. So we're going to go browse into that. Okay, then we want to go into WP content, and then we want to go into themes, and then I'm going to do a refresh here so the child theme shows up. There we go. So here's the parent. Here's the child, okay? So let's go into the parent theme. We are now at the root of the parent theme, and we see a file called footer.php. Let's say that we wanted to customize this, but retain our changes going forward. So what you want to do is just drag that file down to your computer, your workstation, okay? Now it's over there on the left-hand side. Now we want to edit this file. I'm just going to pretend that I'm editing it. So whatever your text editor, whatever your default text editor of choice on your workstation is going to be, that's what's going to pull up here so you can do your edits. I also recommend Visual Studio Code, which is what you're looking at here. It's a free application from Microsoft. It is amazing. Can't recommend it enough. This is what I do all my edits with, all my text files, any file really that has code, potentially have code in it. PHP, CSS, anything. It's all in here. So I would recommend this. But let's just say we've edited that file. We've saved our changes. Now this local file on this computer, I can't talk. This local file right here, footer.php, that's on our computer. We've made our changes, and now we're ready to upload it to the child theme. Okay. So we go back over in FileZilla on the right-hand side. We just go up a couple levels here. Now we want to go into the child theme. Once we go into that child theme folder, we are at the root. So we want to also upload this same footer file to the root. Okay. It's got to be in the same hierarchy for this to work. So in simple terms, whatever place it is within the parent theme, it needs to be in that same hierarchy in the child theme, or it won't work. Same thing with file names. It has to be named the exact file name, the exact folder name, everything. Okay. So we've made our changes to the footer file. Now we're just going to drag this over to our child theme. So again, we're at the root of the child theme. We've now got that customized file in there. Let's go back to the parent theme and just look one more time. At the root of this one, there it is. So we've got the same folder structure, the same file name, but our child theme has those custom changes in that footer file. Okay, that's it. That's all there is to it for customizing those files. Now going forward, if I update the MyListing parent theme, those changes in that footer are going to be retained going forward. Okay, so let's say hypothetically you needed to create a new structure. Okay, so let's go back to the child theme. Okay, so we're at the root. Let's say sometimes, you'll see in the help desk, MyListing developers say, hey, create this path. So we're now at the root. Well, let's create a folder one. We're going to create, and then subfolder, folder two, like that. Okay. So this is just hypothetical, but let's say they said to create these folders, right? And then they said, well, okay, within that files folder structure, let's copy the footer file into that. This is not a likely scenario, but let's just say that was it. That's how you would do it. Okay. All right. So let me go back here. I'm just going to delete real quick what I've done here. I'm going to delete both the folder and that file out of here. Okay. Yeah. So back to it again. If someone says, go in here to the parent and edit the functions PHP file, for example. Don't do that. Don't edit any of these. If they tell you that, like, question their abilities to support you going forward, as I said earlier in this video, don't do that. Even if they say, hey, copy the functions.php to your workstation, go into the child, or the child's already going to have a functions PHP. So if they say edit the functions PHP in the child, that is a much safer way to do it than editing the parent's files. Okay. However, again, functions file can become long depending on how many changes you're making to it. The wrong piece of syntax can bring down your website. This is a very small functions PHP file. If you were to look at a parent, it'd be a much larger file. It's just way riskier than what I'm about to show you, which is code snippet. So typically once in a while you'll see somebody say, I can only get this to run if I do it in the functions PHP, the code snippet's not working. However it is that you're applying your code snippet, whether it's WPCodeBox, which I'm about to talk about, or another one, typically you go into their communities, you go into their support or whatever, ask me or whatever. There's got to be a way with that code snippet to run it at the same level as it would run in your functions PHP file. Okay. So this is the honest to God truth. If I need to make changes, the only time I ever need to use a child theme is when I need to create something that doesn't exist. So that folder structure, adding new files, things of that nature. Otherwise, I use WPCodeBox for everything. Okay. So let's go ahead and close this down, or I'll minimize this here. Okay. So WPCodeBox is installed. I've got within this guide that I'm working from right now for the child theme, there's links to a couple of WPCodeBox guides. I would check those out. The club has a discount, a heavy discount for WPCodeBox, but this video is not really, supposed to focus on WPCodeBox, but it absolutely relates here. Okay. Yeah. So you see the plugins installed here. You add your code, blah, 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 blah. And the real cool beauty of this plugin is, well, one of the many beauties is where to run the snippet. So you see here by default, it's everywhere. But if you change this to custom and click on open the conditions builder here, you can set this. Imagine if this was a large CSS file. So you're making a lot of changes with CSS, but it only applies to your listings, for example. You can come in here and you can say, instead of running this everywhere and slowing down your website potentially, or causing design conflicts or whatever, you could come in here and say, current post type is, and select job listings. This code is now only going to apply to your listings, nowhere else on your website. So you can imagine the benefit to that for optimization. And like I said, potential design conflicts. Okay. Really cool stuff. There's so many awesome features of this plugin. It's one of the top 3 plugins that goes into every site I build. It's just a default plugin I use. Now, the other option, I'm going to close this up here with the other option. If you don't want to do this, mess with the theme files, you don't want to mess with a plugin, you can go over here to theme files, to these theme tools, theme options, this section, which is part of the theme, right? So theme tools, theme options, and then there's a custom code section here. So you can add CSS, JavaScript, and raw code. Again, you got to use extreme caution here, because if something goes wrong, you could bork your website. Whereas with WPCodeBox, it's going to give you a warning that says you've done something to your site and help you get back out of it. And also with the child theme, and you're going through the FileZilla and the file structure, if something goes wrong, you can still access your site. When you're in here, it's just high risk that you can break something. So I would just recommend staying out of here. The other thing is, like, if you add CSS here, blah, 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 whatever it is that you add here is going to be applied to every page on your website, regardless of whether it's needed or not. To combat that, you then need another plugin like Permatters that says, hey, let's remove unused CSS. So you're starting to create these compounding problems that you have to throw more plugins at. Although I do recommend Permatters. That's like the 4th plugin that goes into every site I build. So I still recommend it, but it's just one more thing you got to configure within it, is that unused CSS. So long story short, I recommend staying out of this area if you can. I don't ever use this. I preach this to all my clients, customers, just stay out of this area. Okay. Hope this video was useful and you get a lot out of it, and it clears some things up about child themes. Please click subscribe so you know when my next video comes out, and I appreciate the continued support, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.